Hello and welcome to a new video. I'm going to be taking a look at chapter 1026 of One Piece. So how it's going to work is I'm going to flash up the odd panel here and there just to kind of give you some visual reference of what's going on and everything, just so that you're not looking at a blank desktop background throughout the entire video. But I have a second monitor up where I have the chapter up. Well, I'll be going through the chapter again. I've already read it a couple of times, but I'll kind of be going through it and giving my thoughts as we go. I recommend you either have only just read the manga yourself, or you put it up for further visual reference so you know everything I'm talking about. But like I said, I've got a couple of panels here and there to kind of give you some visual reference. So if you've already read the chapter, you should be good. I would, of course, show basically the entire chapter, but that's a no-no. Want to abide by fair use after all, don't want to show everything. Yeah, so here we go. So chapter 1026, Tennozan Turning Point, and we kind of begin with a really nice, like, cute-looking chapter cover of Nami and Leo making cute, fashionable clothes for a young lion mink. And of course, the design is that of the dress Bellamia made for Nami, where she took Nojiko's, like, sunflower dress and, like, turned it into a lion. So, onto the chapter proper. And we go over to Flower Capital Wano. The Fire Festival blazes on. And so we have, like, Otoko, we having fun? Yeah. Where are you going, Otama? Forgive me, master. So we have a little bit of a flashback, only a couple panels though, showing Otama, like, escaping and going over to Onigashima so that she can help out the Straw Hats and the Scabbards and everyone else. They can't just sit here and do nothing. Don't worry, we'll protect her. Out of the question, get back here. Please let Otama be safe. There's no telling now that she's out at sea. So then we cut back to Onigashima again, so a very quick cutaway. Don't worry, that'll probably be 10 minutes long in the TV anime though. Gotta put the pot shots in there when I can. Yes, I have an update on the mysterious second dragon. Master Yamato is alone on the roof, injured. An unbelievable sight is playing out in the skies above. The two dragons are squaring off. Kaido-sama, the Aza Seryu, is being challenged by a pink dragon, ridden by Straw Hat Luffy. And we kind of get a little bit of Yamato sort of thinking about that time that Momo said, if I could turn into a monster like that, I would actually be useful to the others. So this was a really good chapter for Momo. Momo was never particularly a character I cared for that much until he got, like, aged up into his older form. Artificially aged up, of course his mind isn't older, but his body is. But when that happened, I started liking him a lot more because we're starting to kind of really pay off stuff that we've been setting up with him and sort of shaping him into the new leader of Wano. So I really like that stuff. So the dragon's identity is still unknown, but there's no doubt it's hostile. So Yamato must have been the one keeping Kaido busy, is what Queen is saying there. So now all the other characters know that Yamato was fighting Kaido this whole time, which is some pretty important info to have. And then we kind of cut back to Momo, or Kaido even. He's about to use his fire breath, and yeah, Momo is freaking the fuck out basically. And Luffy is saying, alright, counter it with your own breath. What? I can't do that. And then Kaido kind of fires some blast breath over at Momo. And Momo says, remember, I'm in no position to fight right now. Hey Momo, And then Luffy says something to Momo, and we don't get to see what it is for another handful of panels. And Luffy kind of jumps up as Momo says, what, Luffy, wait, I can't, that's impossible. And Luffy fires off an elephant gun at Kaido. A really nice looking one. I mean, of course, if I was to, like, praise the artwork for One Piece, I'd be doing that in every single panel, but I really like the use of, like, speed lines to kind of show like the intensity of the hit. That stuff's really nice. And then we do get to see what Luffy said to Momo earlier. He says, "Hey Momo, bite Kaido." And once again, Momo's kind of freaking the fuck out, saying, "No way, no way, no way, no way, I can't." And we kind of get this cut with flashbacks to around 20 years ago, when Kaido, like, attacked Momo and killed his mother. So, Toki-sama, please free mother. As Momo kind of gets up the strength to attack and bite Kaido. And we kind of cut back to the flashback again for a couple panels. "Your father was a fool of a lord." And it cuts back to Momo biting Kaido, and Kaido's like, "What are you doing, brat? You ruined Wano. If it wasn't for you, father and mother, they would both be Momonosuke-kun. Yamato?" Nice going, Momo. So I like this moment too, where Luffy's praising Momonosuke, because Luffy's been pretty hard on Momonosuke. In fact, all the Straw Hats have been fairly hard on Momonosuke ever since we met him in Punk Hazard. And so I like that we're really kind of setting up Momonosuke being the new leader now by showing him, like, achieving things step by step. Like, I like that it's a struggle to kind of actually get into the sort of review and discussion here. I like that it's a struggle for Momo. I like that aging him up wasn't just like the golden snitch, the thing that just immediately won everything for everyone. Like, and I like that they stressed that it only ages his body, not his mind. And so it's not going to be something that he'll immediately have full control over. It will definitely give him access to new abilities and stuff, but he isn't used to them, so he can't really use them yet. I'm sure he'll learn how to, like, breathe fire or whatever by the end of this fight, as they set up earlier on in the chapter, but I like that he still is the same Momo that we are familiar with, and so he's taking those smaller kind of steps to drive up the courage to fight back, and as he's doing so, Luffy is actually, like, pushing him in the right direction and encouraging him, so I really like that stuff. So because of that, Luffy managed to get another hit in on Kaido, a pretty big one actually. It looks like one that's gonna kind of help sort of turn the tides if we're referencing the name of the chapter. That's not the specific hit that the chapter is referencing though. So now we cut back to the inside of Onigashima, as there's like a kind of hole in the ceiling, in the treasure repository dome interior. We've seen the last of the moon tonight. Dragons call forth storm clouds after all, so this is a pretty big deal because of course Neko Mamushi and Inuyarashi were relying on their Sulong forms, but now that there's like too much cloud covering overhead, they can't use their Sulong forms anymore, so it kind of cuts back to their fights. Inuyarashi against Jack and Neku Mamushi against Perororin. Man, they're giving me some difficult names to pronounce this chapter, huh? I'll just have to get used to it. But yes, if I'd taken another hit, I probably wouldn't be standing now. Don't feel bad about the moon, you fat cat. It's not that your luck is bad. It's, mine's just better, Porin. Master Nekomamushi is no longer in his Sulong form, so we finally get Carrot again. We saw her fairly recently, like a couple chapters ago, if I believe. But she definitely hasn't had all that much, like, screen time or presence throughout Wano, so I'm always a big fan of seeing more of her. Taking a sip of my tea, it's very early in the morning after all. But yeah, I like that we've been seeing more of her. I'm definitely now, like, now that we're this far through Wano, and she hasn't really been given much to do, I'm definitely of the thought process that she probably isn't going to become a Straw Hat. Back in Whole Cake Island, the answer would have been different, but because she's done so little throughout this arc specifically, I'm not so convinced. Who knows though, maybe. I wouldn't be against it for sure, and I'm not trying to like stoke the flames with that fire. So now we have the other like scabbards, I guess, fighting in Onigashima, and they overhear Luffy shouting out to Momo. And Luffy says, "You just bit one of the 4 emperors. After doing that, does anything in the world seem scary to you?" And this is a really good line. I love this line. I mean, Oda's always been really good at having characters give out, like, really good, like, one-liners that you think about a lot, even as the years progress, and this is a pretty good one. Like, this isn't exactly one of my favorites, but, like, this is still pretty solid. Like, does anything in the world still seem scary to you? Once again, kind of setting up that Momo is absolutely going to become the new leader of Wano once this battle in Onigashima is finished. And my favorite thing, probably my favorite thing this whole chapter, is seeing Yamato's reaction to Luffy saying this. He just looks so happy. And before anyone complains that I said he for Yamato, I'm just using the pronouns the manga says. I don't even care what Yamato's canonical gender is. I'm just using the one that the characters use themselves. If they start using female pronouns for Yamato, I will also. That's just how I always do things. I don't know why I change it now, you know? So Luffy continues and says, then go, you can fly. Stop Onigashima in its tracks. And we see Sanji and Zoro having a bit of an exchange saying, did he just say Momo? Yeah, but that dragon couldn't have been. There's no way. And Luffy says, I will definitely beat Kaido. Whoops. Probably should have been paying attention to my other monitor that's actually recording. I will definitely beat Kaido. Luffy Taro-san, Momonosuke-sama. And then we see Big Mom react, did you hear that? What a rambunctious brat. And then Kid says, you freaking better. Which shuts down all the people who thought that Kid was gonna beat Kaido. I don't know why people thought that Kid was gonna beat Kaido, considering that they didn't even let Law beat Doflamingo, you know? That would feel a bit uneven if they let Kid beat Kaido, but they didn't let Law beat Doflamingo, so I think it was pretty obvious that Kid wasn't going to have that much of an impact on this fight, which is fine, I don't mind. And Law says, where the hell has he been? Otama says, big bro, Momonosuke-kun. And we see Frankie like cheering on Luffy, and as well as the other characters like in the background and stuff. We see a really cool panel of Luffy squaring off against Kaido's hybrid form. Kaido says, do you really think you have a chance against me? As long as I'm still breathing, anything can happen. And the two clash. And so first we get a panel of them like hitting each other but not actually touching, which of course is very reminiscent of when Whitebeard and Roger fought, where like they clashed and they were like so powerful that their clash wasn't even hitting, you know? So we kind of get a reference to that here, to kind of show how powerful these two characters are. But then, as you can see on screen, we have the even more important reference, which is whenever in the past two emperors have squared off against each other in the series, even all the way back to like Shanks and Whitebeard having that kerfuffle, and it was either post Enies Lobby or Jaya. I want to say post Enies Lobby was when they actually clashed, but I could be wrong there. It was one of those two. He definitely visited Whitebeard in both of those two arcs though. But basically, whenever two emperors clash, it causes like the clouds to sort of part on top of them, which is kind of framed here as like the heavens parting, which I feel bad for any sky islands that are directly above Wano. And we get the classic like dawn like sound effect that Oda loves putting as attacks. But the thing that's of course particularly relevant here is this clash allows the moon to become visible again, which cutting forward a little bit allows Nekomamushi and Inuarashi to go back into the Sulong form to finish off their respective fights. But what's more important here too is that, of course, a while ago, back in the Reverie, we had a newspaper article that implied that Luffy was something of a fifth emperor. But the thing is, of course, this was just something that a newspaper was calling Luffy for basically this world's version of clickbait. There was a bit of like, you know, of a kerfuffle as to whether or not anyone actually believed that, you know, the idea that there would even be a fifth emperor, and if there was, would Luffy be considered one? This one panel here of the heavens parting confirms without any shadow of a doubt that Luffy, even if he isn't necessarily officially considered an emperor, this proves that he is at least of the power level of an emperor, and because of that, I will consider him the fifth emperor, basically, because it's cool. I really like this panel. I really like that we kind of built up to it this way. And I like that they made it a plot point. Once again, Oda with his... I don't necessarily think it was intentional foreshadowing all the previous times we saw this, but the fact that it lines up so perfectly to kind of fit in with the whole, like, revealing the moon and allowing the minks to use their Sulong form, I think that's a really cool way of doing it. So, yes, then we cut back to Nekomamushi and Inuarashi, kind of one-shotting their respective foes with Grinning Claw and Decapitating Dog Fleche, I think that is. With Big Mom's eldest mom, Paraspero, has been defeated, and Jack the Drought, Beast Pirate All-Star, has been defeated. You see, he's called the Drought because he never wins, am I right? And then we cut to Orochi, hiding behind like a little door, like saying, "You're kidding, even Jack was." No, wait, that's not my problem anymore. And the chapter very, like, coyly, like, has a bit of narration saying, "Who's that peeking from behind the door?" But let's face it, we all know it's Orochi. He has such, like, a distinct design that it can't be anyone else. And that's where the chapter ends. So I guess I'll give a little bit of thought and, like, feedback and so on and so forth. Yeah, this was a really good chapter. I mean, of course, it's a One Piece chapter. Of course it's really good. That goes without saying. But I really liked everything that happened here, you know. Obviously, the one thing we're really building towards was the heavens parting, and that part was really, really cool. But honestly, I'd say other than that, it was more of a Momo-focused chapter than anything else. I like seeing his very slow but steady progression into becoming the future leader of Wano. That stuff's very satisfying to see. And that's considering the fact that Momo isn't even really one of my favorite characters or anything. So the fact they managed to make that still a satisfying kind of process to see is still really, really good. I liked seeing the two minks kind of one-shotting these two opponents. Of course, they do just one-shot them, but I'm pretty sure it's Jack that earlier on in the chapter mentions that basically, hey, if you can hit me one more time, you probably win, but you're not going to hit me one more time. And it's like, I mean, come on, Jack, you kind of deserve to lose after saying a line like that. And yeah, I love seeing, like, Luffy still progressing and still getting stronger. That stuff, of course, is incredibly satisfying to see as the series progresses. You know, over 1,000 chapters later, Luffy's still climbing up the ranks, getting more powerful, and becoming more impressive, and so on and so forth. And I really like that this move that he used isn't necessarily, like, just to fight back against Kaido, but also to help out the minks, whether he realizes it or not. Of course, this is Luffy, there's a good chance he doesn't even realize that's what he's doing, but I still like it all the same. And yeah, I like Yamato just vibing here and just smiling and watching the fight. that was very good too. I'm sure Yamato will, like, kind of join back in again in a chapter or two when they've had some time to rest for a little bit. And yeah, those are my thoughts of the chapter. I guess I'll see you later with more One Piece videos. I'm not exactly doing these all too frequently, but feel free to like and subscribe to kind of stick around and see more of this kind of thing whenever I do make it. Be sure to leave your thoughts of the chapter in the comments below if you'd like to. And that's basically all I've got for now. So I don't necessarily expect people to watch these videos just because, you know, there's so many One Piece videos out there, so many good One Piece channels out there. But I'm just doing this for fun, just because I want to. I don't really care about how many views it gets. So yeah, I guess I'll see you later with some more videos. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, all that other good stuff if you want to. And I'll see you later in more videos in the future. See ya.